Welcome into the Patriots podcast. I'm here, James, with our good friend Ryan.
Hello.
Missing out on our fearless leader, Sean. He can't make it tonight, so I'll be taking the captain's seat, and Ryan will be our commentary for the night. So, yeah, we haven't done a show since right after the Super Bowl, right? This is the first one.
Yeah, we haven't done one. I did a quick one round mock draft.
Right.
That's up on Spotify. I can put the video up. That was pre-combine, so we'll do it. We'll do probably a few more. Get some more people
Leading up to the
involved
draft.
in the next ones. Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
We just had the combine happen, so we got a lot more information on these guys, and we're starting to see things, pan out with the franchise tags and who's going to be coming available. A lot of trade rumors. So let's dive in.
Yeah, the league year starts in what, 2 weeks? We said, was it the 16th? We just talked about March 16th.
is the opening of free agency, which I believe is a Wednesday. No, is that?
I don't know. I don't know what it is, but it's coming up. We have free agency is always extremely exciting. The Patriots had $120 million in cap, I think, going into this year, and then the cap was just raised another what, 25 mil or something past last year. So I don't know what the official number comes down or if it's been settled yet, but they're looking at like 150 million for free agency. We have the 4th overall pick, as we all know, we're excited about. Let's start with the combine here. I mean, Ryan's our resident expert on all things draft and combine. I didn't focus as much outside of rumors and what we're hearing, but Ryan looked at pretty much all the footage live of the combine. What are some of your thoughts there, Ryan?
I think it's a pretty deep class at certain positions, tight end especially. Okay. Running back, really good. Really good running back and tight end class. Right? Edge class is insanely deep. I mean, there's like 20 guys I think that are going to go in the top 4 rounds.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, it's deep there. I think safety's got some good players. Decent cornerback class. Horrible quarterback class. Wide receivers okay. I would say it's not as good as the last few years.
Well, and it's a little meatier that people are saying in the mid rounds, right? There's some good guys in the mid rounds potentially
for wide receiver.
Yeah.
I think the top 5 or 6 are pretty well separated. As I would say, there's 4 or 5 guys that are definitely going to go in the first round or thereabouts.
Okay.
Then it drops off, and it's kind of hard to separate some of these guys. I would say like 6 through 12.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know if any of them are potential studs. I don't really see it. Just going through some of my notes here, there are some good wide receivers that I would take. Elikiah Manor from Stanford, big guy. Jalen Royals, the Iowa State guys showed out. Jaden Higgins and Jalen Knoll. Jaden Higgins is a big boy, 6'4".
In relation to T or no?
No, okay. Unfortunately not. We missed that bus with the franchise tags.
Oh yeah, we'll get to the franchise tags momentarily here.
Some of the guys that didn't participate, which is kind of what's going on now with some of the bigger prospects. It's all on tape. There's nothing for them to work out for. All that can happen is, you move down. You can't move up when you're Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter,
Right.
But yeah, I mean, some of the guys that did run, I would say Jahdae Barron putting up a 4.39 when you thought he was a zone 3, cover 2, kind of eyes on the quarterback corner. To have that number there where you didn't know, because his man coverage skills were not that good.
Okay.
Not that we'd be in on him, but to put up a 4.39 was big for him. Nick Eamon, the safety from South Carolina. What a fucking athlete he is.
Where's he projected? Is he a first rounder?
Yeah, he's going to go probably late first half, second half of the first round. I would guess.
Okay.
Um, you know, but what are we looking at? Right, we're looking at
We're looking at
maybe a wide
offensive,
receiver.
defensive line, receiver. I mean, safety though. You said it's a deep safety class. Like they
Yeah,
could use a safety. I mean,
yeah, but
not in the first couple rounds. I hope.
no. When you're thinking at four, right?
Oh yeah, O
You're
line,
thinking
D
of
line, right?
you're thinking of the best player available, right? So
Right.
you're hoping one of Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter drops, and if not, then you're starting to get into let's just take the best tackle, Armand Membu, I would say, because
Which he's defined as a right tackle. Everyone's saying. Do you think differently of
I
that?
think he can play either. He's got
You do.
crazy feet, good
And he's
hands.
huge, right? He's big size,
He's
big
big.
arm length.
He's not the biggest. He's not the tallest. I think he's only 6'4".
Okay.
But I mean, the way he plays is so clean. His tape at Mizzou. He's from Mizzou. Super clean. His parents are Cameroonian immigrants. He's first generation, you know, here, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm just blown away by his tape. When you go to watch it, I would take him for. I mean, I
Okay.
you might call it an overdraft. I would say, I think right now he's seventh on my big board, which is really high. I think a lot of people have him like 11th, 12th.
I don't know, dude. I keep hearing his name, especially on all the local radio shows and local beat writers talking about how he really made an impression at the combine. Plus his tape, he's gotten into the top 10 anyways. And I've heard conversation where if you want him, you could maybe trade back a few
A couple
spots,
spots, right? A couple spots.
grab something. Yeah, if you want to take that risk, but then you could still get him. And the reason we're talking about him is because Will Campbell, who was considered, I think, the number one lineman prospect, right, is
Yeah, he's
measured in, really hurt himself with the measuring in.
yeah. You know, I think he's the best offensive lineman in this class, but
Yeah,
I just don't think you could draft him as a tackle. And
it's
that's gonna
tough.
hurt his draft position. I don't think you could take him at 4 right now because
No,
I mean,
I don't think so
any way
either.
you look at it, 32 and 5/8 inch arms at tackle is seventh percentile. There's just no track record of guys being successful with that. As
Yeah,
a guard, even it's still small. It's still 23rd percentile.
right.
I think he's a heck of a quarterback. I think he's a heck of a player,
Yeah,
but I actually think he's the future captain. Whoever drafts him, I think he's going to be a captain in like 2 3 years.
right.
Um,
I mean, I've heard that a lot about him too. Is everyone's basically saying, yeah, he's a great pick. He's gonna be a great football player wherever he is, but you're drafting number four. Are you really going to take a guy that could be converted to guard
yeah,
realistically?
I
It's
think
like Quentin,
realistically
that's not going to do. Like Quentin Nelson got taken, what, top 10 by
seventh
the
or
Colts?
something. Yeah,
Something like that, and that was what, a decade ago, and it hasn't happened since. So
guards
and
don't
he,
go that high.
and
Not
guards don't go that high. No,
not
he,
purposely. You know that I know
right. No.
Evan Neal a couple years ago, which is one of the crazy things because he's a
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Yeah.
huge guy. They had to. I always say reduce him down. Reduce down to guard, which is kind of poking at guard. But I mean, it's important. Tackle's more important than guard. It just is.
Especially for the Patriots' current team, where
Oh yeah,
we have a couple of positions, obviously, as our listeners probably know, that we have a few players that can play guard. Awenu, City Sal, Layden Robinson, maybe Cole Strange. It's like those between those four guys, you can probably make something happen.
yeah.
You really got to just fill one spot. So it's like,
Even Membu, not the longest arms. I mean, it's still 33 and a half inches is 26th percentile for a tackle. But I mean, it's better than taking because I think he's more likely to stick
right.
because there's just no tape of him getting beat by length to the degree where Will Campbell was getting beat by length. And I think he's only been playing football for a few years. So
Well, no, there was another tackle too. What was the Ohio State guy? Is he
Kelvin
just
Banks is 33 and a half, same thing as Membu. I mean, a lot of these tackles, you're talking about
what is Josh
shorter arms
Josh
guys.
Simmons? Is he If is that it for him too? He's later.
Josh Simmons is the first round pick. I would imagine he goes in the top 15. He was playing himself into contention to be the top tackle
The
taken,
guy.
and then he tore his, I think he was tore his ACL. Uh,
Uh,
and then Donovan Jackson, their guard, had to bump out the tackle. Did a great job for the rest of the season. But Josh Connerly might be the guy that like projects best out of the top few guys as far as length. Josh
okay.
Connerly Jr. from Oregon. I still think just going through the tape, I think Membu's the cleanest of all the tackle
Okay.
prospects. I mean, you can go different directions there too. You could go Mason Graham.
Right.
You could,
Another measurable guy. Did you hear about
yeah,
his
it
thing?
didn't go well, right, with the measurements. Kind of stubby, you know.
Well, and he was what, 30, 25 or 30 pounds under his listed weight, which is fine. There's plenty of D tackles that are 290, 300 pounds, but when you're listed at a
Two
320
ninety six or
playing weight,
something.
something like that. But he was listed at, I didn't want to say in the 320s. So when you're listed in 320s and people are thinking you're kind of a nose tackle,
I mean,
uh,
his tape is
two gap
unbelievable.
guy,
6'3" and a half, 296. That's what he came out at.
right?
Um,
And he was
just a
listed bigger than
headache.
that. So
So
I don't know. I
let
don't.
me
I don't know
read you
what to do.
my. I did a quick write up on Membu. I'll just read it to
Sure.
you. I have to admit, I was not expecting to like this player as much as I did before watching him. A former tennis player and wrestler whose parents immigrated from Cameroon.
That's pretty good tennis player. He's got quick
Yeah,
feet.
Membu has the cleanest tape of all the tackles I watched for this class. The footwork, balance, and body control are elite. He plays with outstanding leverage and technique. Membu has a strong and thick lower half. His hand placement and punches
Thick.
are refined, consistently getting inside guys' pads and killing the rush. He's an outstanding athlete, showing great burst off the snap, both in the run and pass game. The question with Membu is going to come down to whether or not he meets team size thresholds to stay at tackle or reduce down to guard.
Sure.
So, I
And
mean, it's a tape. It's very similar thing with a lot of these guys.
right. There's no Joe Alt of this class,
Uh-uh.
unfortunately. And so you already said it, but you think he can play left and right.
Yeah,
Do you think he'd be more successful
I
at
think
right tackle?
his feet are so good and his technique is so good. I think he could
That
do
they could
either.
coach it up. Okay, well, so that's a weapon. And are you in the thinking that unless Carter or I can't believe I'm blanking on his name, the other receiver cornerback there,
Hunter.
unless
If
Hunter,
yeah, I would
if
say
they
if
don't fall, you'd take Mumbo.
at number 4, if I could trade down a couple picks and still get Membu, I would do that. If Carter or Hunter are there,
You go for them.
you can't not do it, and you're hoping
Yeah,
with the quarterback situation going on around the league, someone's going to jump up or the Giants are going to stick or the
right.
Titans are going to. The Sam Darnold thing is huge, right? Because, like, if the
Where he
Titans
goes.
were to sign Sam Darnold, that takes them out of the running. They're probably going to take
Maybe,
Carter.
most likely, right.
The
Or
Browns,
Travis Hunter. I mean, they could take either, but
the
yeah.
Browns and the Giants could take Carter, or the Giants, I should say, could take Shador Sanders, which to me is incredibly. I have Shador Sanders, I think 38th on my big board.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, I've heard that he didn't do himself any favors. He doesn't have that
He did work
feel.
out.
He what?
He didn't work out at the combine. He just showed up.
I heard he threw a little bit. No,
I didn't know.
you didn't
No,
see it.
he
Okay.
didn't. He
Well,
didn't.
anyways, I've heard that his arm, he doesn't have that Drake May,
Oh
uh,
no, not even close.
and these guys like the rocket arm, and that's kind of what you're looking for in a top 10 quarterback is you're looking for someone with a really, really big arm.
Or traits,
Yeah, and those
arm
traits.
angles,
Right.
arm talent, which I don't look I don't look at arm talent as just like arm strength.
Sure,
How long does it take you to throw? How long does it?
Yeah,
Can you throw from different positions? Can you throw off platform?
the whole thing there.
The whole thing, accuracy, all that. I think that all goes into arm talent.
And last year, there's Jaden Daniels had it, Caleb Williams had it, Drake May had it. Those were guys that were considered
Even
there.
Bo Nix and Penix. I mean,
Bo Nix had, yeah.
I think Cam Ward maybe ahead of Penix or Nix coming out. So he would probably
Coming
be
out, where they
QB4
were,
at best last year and probably more like QB 5 or 6.
Wow.
That's how, I mean, QB drafts. That's why I said last year, you can't pass on a Drake May to get, I can't even think, whatever wide receiver you wanted to name last year,
Yeah, right,
you
right.
know,
Marvin Harrison Jr. or something.
Malik Neighbors, um,
Right.
one of those guys.
And so you said it's a really deep DN draft, which is great for the
Oh
Patriots
yeah.
because they could use a good stud at the end, whether Abdul Carter falls to them or they get someone else.
So yeah, if
Who do you really
Abdul,
like? What do you? There are a couple choices for second round if you had a choice.
well, that's the thing is you're dependent on who else is taking all these guys because you're not taking an edge at 4 if his name's not Abdul Carter, right?
Sure, sure.
So you're looking at, I don't think Ezeraku from BC will drop to 38, um, somewhere in that range. Jack Sawyer, Nick Scorton from Texas A&M, young. I think he's only 20 still,
Mhm.
junior. I think Purdue transfer, 6'3", 257. He would be a great pick at 38. Jack
Okay.
Sawyer, older. I think he's 22. Ohio State senior, 6'4", 260. If you don't take Abdul Carter, these are some of the guys you could think of. Landon
Sure.
Jackson's another one, 6'6", 264, big boy.
Hmm.
Um, those are probably the three I would think would be
In that
on the
range.
Patriots radar. Yeah,
Yeah.
and if they don't take tackle at 4, you have other guys, that you're hoping might drop. I mean, I don't suspect Josh Connerly would drop to 38, especially if with the Chiefs there at 32.
Okay.
Like I just think that if Connerly were there at 32, like the Chiefs, no brainer.
They're gonna jump on him.
Um, yeah, but Ariante Ursary, big tackle, 6'6", 331.
D tackle.
No, right tackle.
Oh, okay.
So
Second rounder.
I think so. Second, possibly. I could go either way with Ursary. I think he could go.
And there are other guys in the second round that you think you
Yeah,
could go
yeah. I
at
think
tackle.
yeah, but I think a lot of these guys are going to reduce down to guard. Wylet Milam's going to reduce down to guard. Cameron Williams is one that will be there in the second round, and he is a fantastic athlete, but he's raw penalties like crazy.
Hmm.
Needs a lot of coaching. He's a tackle
Right.
from Texas, who's junior.
Not a
Um,
plug-in
yeah, I
option,
don't think
which they really need.
I'm not crazy about the second round tackle talent. I think
Okay.
if you miss one in the third round or the second round, I might wait to the third round and see if Anthony Belton's there from NC State. I think he's the best tackle projection out of those guys. Ursary, I think, is up there too, but
Okay.
I think Ursary's price is going to be a little bit higher.
Well, there you have it. So, a lot of action at the combine, a lot of options for the Patriots in their, they got a lot of draft capital this year, and they got a hit. They got a hit. They
Well,
they really.
they might end up trading one of those picks because there's so many receivers that are becoming available. You're hearing,
That's potential too.
um, you're hearing about Ayuk potentially getting traded.
Yep.
Um,
DK Metcalf just asked
DK
for a
Metcalf
trade.
asked for a
Trade.
trade, right?
You know, AJ Brown before the Super Bowl win was being talked about as a trade candidate.
Apparently, the Patriots have inquired about AJ Brown. No, I don't
Good,
know
they
what that would
should.
take, but some of these guys, I love AJ Brown. I wouldn't give up 4 for him. I think
No,
that's
no, you
that's too
can't do
rich.
that. You can't do
Um,
number four.
but
Maybe
a
a
second
trade
round pick,
back. Yeah,
yeah.
trade back or a set couple package deal thing going on. I
Hmm.
mean, unfortunately, we don't really have any players to give up. Uh, Speaking of, since we're into free agency, essentially with the trade talk, Godchaw has requested a trade, which I mean,
Well, I guess
based
the
on
Patriots let him look for a trade, which is weird to
yeah,
me, right? Like you're having the player look for a trade. Like, how does that even work?
I don't know, but they're not going to get much for him. It's like Debo just went for a fifth round pick, which to the Commanders, which I'm surprised we didn't maybe look into that one a little bit. Joe Tooney went at for a fourth round pick to the
Fourth round
Bears
pick to the
from the
Bears.
Chiefs. I mean
Huge for the
that
Bears.
one, and I'm surprised the Patriots didn't take a look at that.
Yeah, right. I
Bring
mean,
in
I
a
know he's
Pro
older.
Bowl guard. Yeah, but I mean, we could use it. We
Some
could use
bad tape
everything.
of him at tackle. I mean, was that what we're doing here? Are we moving on from him because he had some bad tape? Don't put
I
him at
know.
tackle.
Right.
Like
Literally. Put him
I don't
at
know.
left
That's a weird
guard.
one. He is what? He's got to be 34. He's got to be old.
I will. I don't know. He's definitely. I want to say he's 32 or 33, but he could be 34 by now. I mean, he's been playing for a long time. He's a really solid player. I just keep hearing about all these things that are gestating leading up to free agency. And it's like, where are the Patriots? Where are the Patriots? All I keep hearing is, well, we don't, we want to spend, we want to spend, we want to spend, which they said last year and we didn't spend. But this year, as we alluded to the cap space, like they have to spend
Yeah,
literally $100 million to not get fined.
that's the thing with free agency. The best guys don't become available.
That's the
Like,
point.
so you're really looking for serviceable players, and maybe you can get a
Right.
couple guys like the best. Trey Smith got franchise tag. T. Higgins got franchise tags,
Right.
which I think the NFLPA is going to do something. They have to. You can't.
About
You
what?
shouldn't be able to franchise tag a guy 2 years in a row.
Yeah. I mean, some guys, well, you remember Kirk Cousins did it and it really worked out for him. Remember
Yeah,
that?
I just think that T. Higgins is getting fucked. Like
It's up to him though. He doesn't have to sign the contract. I mean,
I
he's
don't
going to
know. Does
make.
he not have to?
They don't have to.
Really?
Now, if they don't, it
I
can
think he
be a
could hold out. I
problem.
think that's his only recourse.
Well, there's like or they can like force a trade. Remember, we had issues with that in the past. I want to say
But
there
here's
was
the
a
thing:
player.
once you franchise tag the guy and tender him, like T. Higgins is going to take what 2 first round picks or something stupid now because
Yeah,
he
for
signed that.
compensation.
It's untradeable.
He's
You,
untradeable. Well, they said they want to sign him, but also, this was getting into Bengals stuff.
you still have to
Um,
sign fucking
they want to
Jamar
sign
Chase.
Jamar Chase, and the GM just came out last week said he's going to be the highest paid non-quarterback in the league. That's their goal, and then they're going to take care of T. Higgins and sign him to a long deal. But then, what's the DN today? Was it Mason?
Sam Hubbard retired.
Not Sam. No, no, the
Hendrickson.
not Hendrickson. The Oakland.
Oh, Max Crosby. He got a good deal.
Yeah, he just got $100 million, 91 guaranteed
Is it 3 years?
for 3 years.
Yeah, that's good money.
So it's like he just upped the guarantee for Jamar Chase and T. Higgins to be happy. You know what I mean? Like it's a D end.
Well, I think you're looking at positional stuff. But the numbers usually go by position.
I know, but he may Max. I'm sorry, I keep saying Mason. Max Crosby is the highest paid non-quarterback right now with that contract
Is that yeah?
per year with guarantees.
With Garen. Okay. So I mean,
So
edge is one of the premier
it
positions.
is, but now the Bengals have to take care of two guys, and the
That's
market just
insane.
got set.
Two
You know what I
receivers,
mean?
and you paid your quarterback already.
It's a lot of money, and they
It's
need offensive
crippling.
line help still. So, there's going to be a lot of stuff happening.
Dude,
Of course,
their defense is what killed them last year.
yeah, their defense sucked, and Trey Hendrickson, they got to pay him too, and they're probably
Yeah.
not going to pay him. And I don't know if he's going to get. I mean, he's going to get good money, but like Max Crosby money, I wouldn't think so.
No, he's not.
Right?
He's not close to that level of
I,
player.
I don't. I don't think so either. So,
He was good last year though.
he was good. He was good. He's a good player. Not to say that he's a bad player,
Yeah.
but Max Crosby is, an absolute game changer, game wrecker, type of guy. So yeah, Patriots have the work cut out for them. We were just talking a lot about tackle in the draft, tackle in free agency. There's some names in there, but Ronnie Staley's really the only proven
He's the
kind of
guy. He's the guy
guy.
you're hoping becomes free because
He
if
is
you,
because he's the proven left
yeah,
tackle. And if you don't get him, who else are you looking at? I mean,
right.
Cam Robinson is good. He's had injury history. He went to Minnesota and started last year. Um, Once injury hit their tackle spot, so he could start, but he was brought in as a backup. And then the other top guys are Joseph Noteboom,
Mm-hmm.
LA. He's basically been an every I'm sorry, career backup. Started 8 games in 2023 were the most he started. Tyron Smith and Morgan Moses are both 34 years old. They were the tackles on the Jets. I don't want anything to do with either of them. They're too old.
Yeah, but
And
for
then you got
1 year, just to have someone
for
that can
one
play the
year, you
position.
sure, but I
I,
mean, it's like they need
honestly,
They
I
need
think
more than this patchwork 1 year thing, though.
if yeah,
This is
well,
what we've been doing. You know what I
that
mean?
brings me to Dan Moore.
Wills,
Dan Moore.
Dan.
Dan Moore
Okay.
Jr., the tackle from Pittsburgh. He's 26 years old. He'll be 26 in week 1. So, I mean, if you're going to get a guy that, we didn't really have good success with the other Pittsburgh tackle last year, did we? Um,
No.
Jesus Christ. But Dan Moore is, if you want a guy that's going to stick around for a few years, Dan Moore would be the guy.
Is he a free agent?
Yep, he's a free agent, and
He is.
they
Okay.
they've been drafting tackles
Yeah, they got,
last couple
what was it?
years.
Oderick last year?
Broderick Jones.
Broderick Jones. That's his name. Thank you.
I feel like they drafted someone else too. My mind's drawing a blank there, but Dan Moore would be a direction I go if Ronnie Stanley, um, and even Ronnie Stanley has been injury prone throughout his entire career.
Yeah, he
He's
has.
going to be 31. I think he's great for a year or two if he stays healthy. But what if he gets injured? Then you're back in the same fucking spot, starting for Darian Lowe at left tackle. I mean, we can't
I
do
mean, you're
that.
screwed if that happens. You're absolutely screwed if that happens. They need a right and left tackle. And if they don't get it, I don't know. It's like I don't know how far this team can go.
Well, no, they're not going to go very far next
I mean,
year.
it's like, and what's the point? Like, what are we even doing here? It's funny, right? I don't see that tackle listed on free agents.
I'll have to send you the link I'm looking at.
Okay.
I'll send it to you right now. But I mean, if we go to those are the basically, the short list of tackles I think we're looking at.
Yeah, I mean, I have a write up here, and there's all kinds of guys that are late, but it's like, maybe you find someone as a spot starter, maybe,
But
someone
Mekhi
can.
Becton,
He's guard though. He's
he's
moved.
tackle guard. I mean,
I know, but
he's on Wenu type.
he was guard all last year.
He had a good
It's
year
like,
too.
and he had a good year, but it's like you're gonna move him back to tackle. Like, I guess everyone outside of those guys have severe question marks.
He's
And
a
even
right.
some of these starters
Well, see,
have
that's the
question
other
marks.
thing. You have a little bit of flexibility with Onwenu. So
You
if you
do.
bring in a right guard like Becton, him and Onwenu on the same side, that's a lot of beef.
That is.
That's a lot of beef. And like I would be okay with that. Andrews
What about
back. Cole Strange.
Jedrick Wills?
Yeah, right. He had some good years.
He's
And
he's a little undersized, 6'4", 307. He's only going to be 26 by the next year,
had
but
an
he hasn't really
absolutely
played.
hasn't that he had a horrible year. Like the fuck happened to him?
He barely played. He got injured, and then he was dealing with injuries.
I think there's other, there's other positions we should talk about too. Linebacker,
Well,
Jamie.
they desperately need a linebacker, but
I mean,
it's like it's such a linebacker is such an overthought. I'm sorry, I should say
Overlooked.
overlooked. Thank you.
Yeah.
Position. It's like whoever they bring in, but they brought in Sion Takitaki last year, and that did
they already cut him.
wasn't good. They already cut him, and your linebackers last year were terrible. You're getting Bentley back, but that's about it. Everybody else,
you need to get more athletic at that position.
and that's something I can see them drafting in the third or fourth round, depending on what the depth is there in the draft.
I think they have a player with Mapu. I think that Mapu
He started playing, yeah.
Yeah, I think he could be a player that is kind of that tweener safety,
Right.
Athletic coverage linebacker. I think that he could be a player. Jamie Sherwood on the free agent list jumps out to me. Linebacker for the Jets. He's going to be 25 in week 1, so he's coming off his rookie deal. I think he's a solid player. I mean, Zach Bond got swept up by the Eagles.
Big deal.
Yeah, and he earned it. Oh my God, what a fucking season he had! I think he was number 1 on PFF's rankings for all the linebackers last year. So
I wouldn't be surprised.
wide receiver.
There's
about wide receiver.
Let's talk about wide receiver. A lot of guys are getting. We talked about the possible trade options. Chris Godwin has been, there was rumors that he was going to get franchise tagged. He didn't get franchise tagged. He's going to be out there. I love him as a player. I think he would be a great veteran to come in and just be a guy that you can consistently go to, but he has a lot of injury history. He's not a perfect candidate. Devontae Adams just got cut in New York by the Jets. So he's available. He's a player we've talked about in the past, but you and Sean were both thinking he was a little too old for the window. But to me, I think you need a guy that could come in and show these receivers
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with the
how
wide
to be a
receivers.
receiver. You
I
know what I
don't care
mean?
if you get an old guy that doesn't fit the
It doesn't
timeline.
matter anymore.
Like
Yeah.
these some of these Javon Baker and Jalen Polk, they need a guy to come in and Demario Douglas even like just show him something.
This is what happens. This is how we
Teach
do
him
it.
something. And
Right.
Godwin plays a lot of slot and he's coming off the ACL and MCL. I don't know if it's the best fit, but it's a guy that knows what he's doing and he's been
Right.
there before and he's done it. I mean,
Runs great routes, good team player,
even
good leader.
I don't think he would be too interested in New England, but Devonta Adams just got cut by the Jets. I
I'd
would
love
fucking
I'd
love him here.
so you do because before you and Sean were both against him.
Well, it doesn't fit the timeline at all, but
No.
I need someone in here that moves the fucking needle a little bit.
Right.
Like, and
I'd love Devontae Adams, and I think you can get him at a reasonable price. It's not like he's going to be cheap by any means, but he's not going to be breaking the bank because he had a bad season last year, or just not a bad season, just not like an overpowering season like he's so used to, where he used to set the market.
There were times late in last season where he took over games.
Yeah, and he was dominant. He still has it.
He still has it. So.
But then the question with him is, what's the Josh McDaniel connection with him? Is he going to go play for Josh McDaniels or not? I don't know.
I don't know. Josh McDaniels is a hell of an offensive coordinator. I know he's not a great head coach, but track record's there.
Because Devontae had a really rough time with him in Oakland. Josh McDaniels is the head coach. But on the flip side, Adams had big time numbers. I want to say he put 1,500 yards up with them.
You know what's hilarious is I'm hearing Aaron Rodgers to Vegas.
The Giants?
To Vegas.
Oh, and Vegas. The Giants. I'm hearing
I've heard him to Vegas and the Giants.
That'd be crazy.
So, I mean, because that's the thing with Aaron Rodgers receivers.
Yeah, does Devontae just follow him around?
Go back to the Raiders after that?
No, I can't. I mean, maybe. You never know. A rumor I'm hearing, which I hate, Christian Kirk got released today by Jacksonville, and I'm already hearing him linked to the Patriots, and it's like
it's just like that's a number 2.
That's what they've been doing. They brought in Osborne last year. That's a very Osborne
Well, no, he's better
guy.
than Osborne.
I know he is, but it's going to end up the same. You know, it's like the Jarius Bird or the Nelson Aguilar, like this guy.
Let's go get Darius Slayton. It's like,
yeah,
all right, so we're just gonna get number 2 and 3 receivers everywhere, and like, no, we have enough of those guys. We have enough of just guys.
Right. And we have enough money to go get somebody.
Yeah, and whether you have to, sack up and give up a future second or third, or you have to overpay for a Devontae Adams for a year or two, and then it's dead money. You somehow get out of the contract. Like that's okay.
They can do that. They can afford to do that.
Plenty
of
money.
Now. They've got to spend it. So you got to spend it somehow. And signing linebackers and guards isn't going to get you to the spending limit there.
No, I mean it's not like they're signing. If you're going to sign those guys, sign athletic guys that are young. Right.
Don't
sign fucking 29-year-olds that you're going to cut after one season because they're too slow to play in coverage. Well, why the fuck did you play them in coverage? Why the fuck did you sign them?
Right.
Right. Fucking this team, they've been cheaping out across the board. It's time
it's time to pay. And I don't know if you've heard the Elliott Wolf content recently of him at the combine and stuff. I don't like what I'm hearing. I don't really like hearing him talk. Honestly, I don't.
You don't like him, huh?
No. You like him? You coming around on him?
I'm okay with him. I think he did a horrible job last year. I just want to get that out of the way. Like it's a horrible draft philosophy. It's a horrible.
So what about you think he's going to turn around this year?
I just think he's got pedigree. I think he's been around the league for a long time. I think he knows talent. I just don't think
I don't know if he does know talent. He showed nothing in his first year that he knows any talent at all.
Well, I mean, it's hard to fuck this up, but he did draft Drake May. Like, I'm happy with that.
No, I know. But like you said, that was hard to fuck up. Everybody else, he kind of fucked up.
Yeah. You're right. You're right. I can't argue it. But it's tough. GM is tough to judge after one season.
It is. I
GM is tough to judge after 3 seasons, really. I mean,
it
you're
can be.
drafting guys, and I don't know. I think the book's still out on Caden Wallace and Layden Robinson.
Sure.
Um, you know, I think Jalen Polk, the book's still out. Like
Yeah.
I I
You
don't
can't
think
write him off
I
yet.
don't think you give up on Jalen Polk. I saw a picture. Jalen Polk just had a baby today. So
Oh wow.
congratulations to Jalen Polk. He's never going
Yeah.
to hear this, but congratulations. And I go on there and I see one of the Boston Twitter things saying, "Oh, I hope you don't drop the baby." And it's just like
What a dick.
I'm like, that's too much, dude.
That's just a dick move.
You know, I don't want. I just feel like some of the Boston we're just it's just too harsh. You know, like
Yeah. It can be.
it's just
A
it
lot
can
of
be a little bit
pressure.
too harsh. It can. I think mentally the fans got in his head last year. That's what I
Yeah.
think.
Polk for sure.
Yeah, I
I
think the
think
fans got a Mac Jones head. I feel like that happens.
I think Mac Jones, maybe that was a foregone conclusion, but I agree with you. Elliot Wolf's picks are there, you can't write them off yet. You got to give him another season. There's something that just rubs me wrong of the way that Mayo got fired, which we all expected and wanted.
Uh-oh. Are you
But what? No, I'm just
is
going to
this
say,
JJ talking or is this Christian Gonzalez?
no, no, I'm just saying, I'm surprised that Elliot Wolf, like, was able to be like, oh, he's kind of sent a couple shots at Mayo as if, you know, he set up Mayo okay. Like we all know Mayo was set up
Well,
terribly for that team, and he had no business being the coach. But now it's like, oh, Elliot Wolf did no wrong. Don't give me
no,
that
I
bullshit.
think that it's both. I think they both
They both
deserve
screwed
blame,
the pooch.
but I don't think honestly you could look at last year's roster and say Gerard Mayo helped anyone.
No, no, no,
He
no,
he didn't help anyone. No one got
no.
better.
No one got better.
No one
But
got better, dude.
also, Elliot Wolf didn't bring in a stud at
But
all.
why didn't Keon White get much better? Why didn't,
Right. No, for
some of
sure.
these, like Gonzalez
Keon
was
White, Gonzalez could have been, he was really good and he could have been even better potentially.
right.
Duggar was the worst he's ever been.
Douglas didn't get much better last year.
Demario Douglas didn't do much. Kayshawn Booty's maybe the only player that like actually improved,
Mm-hmm.
like was an improved player, and that could just be because he is good receiver talent.
Natural progression. I mean, you're
Yeah,
talking about a second year guy.
right.
What happened to Kyle Duggar last year? What the fuck
That
happened?
was his worst season yet
By far,
by
by
far.
far. And
Yeah.
it's like,
So I do understand that. That's on the coach. That's not on the GM. But I don't know. Elliot Wolf having any say, as long as Vrabel's making the picks or Vrabel's team's making the picks, which I think is going to happen, I'm okay with that. So
the other thing is, Okorafor had very little to do with Wolf, right?
what do you mean?
I just think that it's after he signed. There's good stuff on tape with Okorafor in Pittsburgh. He
I know,
comes
but I
here
think
and it's just like he doesn't want to play football anymore.
I know, and that's probably on a lot on coaching. But I think I at the time, and this could be this is my opinion. I got the impression that Wolf was pushing for him to play left because when he was signed, Elliot Wolf said, "Well, we're really going to put a Cora Fork we know can play left." He was quoted saying that a few times. The few times he talked, he had mentioned that, and then it's like, well, the guy wanted nothing to do with playing left tackle. Maybe you should have,
Well,
maybe you
yeah,
should
maybe
have
do your due diligence on it. I mean,
hash that one out before it happened.
yeah, I would imagine that would have been a conversation. You would
And then
hope
Caden
when you're
Wallace,
signing for millions of dollars, like
right? You'd think.
you'd think you
But
just
they
have
didn't
that
even give him that
conversation.
big of a deal though. And then Caden Wallace was a right tackle, and they kept trying to put him at left, and he got absolutely embarrassed at left tackle. It's like where I don't know
Yeah, big
where
reaches
that
too. I did not like the drafting second round on. I actually no, I shouldn't say that because I was okay with Polk when they took him.
yeah,
I
we were
thought
happy
Polk
with
was going to be a
Polk.
good player.
We were all
I
happy
would
with
say
him.
third round on last year. I didn't know what the fuck was going on with the drafting. I was just like, oh, okay.
Right. Right. There,
Man,
there were guys that weren't even close to your rankings. It
no,
was like
no, that's
100 picks
okay.
off.
That's okay if you get it right. Like I don't
Right.
care. I don't mind being
Right.
wrong.
But it wasn't right. They didn't get it right.
Right. Another one. Ramondre. What the fuck?
Yeah, worst season he's had in the pros.
That's got nothing to do with Wolf. Wolf gave him a deal, but I
No,
mean,
that's male, and you're right. There, I mean, there's plenty that was definitely just males in influence. It's funny seeing Wolf still up there, like acting like last year was whatever, but then he makes slight digs at Mayo. I don't know if you picked up any of those during his talk. He
yeah,
little
but
little
I mean,
things,
I
nothing bad, but
I just
it's
don't want
like,
to hear that, like Christian Gonzalez said, which is really annoying to me.
what did he say? I don't know
He
what he
said
said.
that Mayo got what were his exact words? Not a rough shake, but got kind of screwed over. I don't
Hmm.
know his exact words, but it pissed me off. It was like he didn't really deserve the job to begin with. He's never even called plays.
No, and did you know that he's not coaching next year either
Yeah,
at any
and then he
level?
might never coach again. He said he might be done with coaching.
Which is like, why did he even get the job? Would you want to just like try it as
Well,
one of the hardest?
your heart's not into it then. That's what that
Right.
says to me. You were a political hire.
Higher,
Like,
especially, and it's like NFL coaching. That's like one of the most time consuming, like, you have to be in this because this consumes your entire life
and that's on
type
ownership.
job.
That's on ownership, which to
Definitely.
me brings up an even bigger issue. And then we start to get into these report cards that come out every year, right?
Oh, the report cards. All right,
I
let's
mean,
talk. Let's have a minute for the report cards.
the report cards,
Dog shit.
I can go 4-13 and be miserable. But when the report cards come back that you have the 31st
Ranked
most
facility.
unhappy fucking players, that
It's real
pisses me
bad.
off
Yeah.
because the season ticket prices and all the prices are sixth or seventh highest in the NFL. So what are we paying for?
Right. And
You
that's
know,
down, by the way. It
yeah,
used to be top
it
two
used to
or
be,
three.
yeah. And Tom Brady's not walking through that fucking door anymore to save us. So why are they still seventh highest when you have
Right.
all these things that have a D or a C minus or a
Or an
fucking F?
F.
Like,
Yeah.
all right, so let's get
The
into the
weight room.
specifics.
The weight
The
room.
weight
Let's start
room.
with the weight room.
Okay.
They said the word they got what, an F in the weight room, right? They got the worst ranking.
F, worst weight room in the NFL. Now, that's not hard to fix.
No, that's an easy fix.
You have Patriot Place there. There's fucking, I mean, you anything you could think of over there
Yeah.
that you want to do. Like F
I
for
mean,
weight room.
a weight and the thing that kills you about a weight room is, yes, for the average person, a weight room sounds extremely expensive. Like if you want to do a fully loaded weight room, whatever, they can afford it. They can put, and it's not that expensive at that level. You put $1 million into a weight room, like a few sections worth of tickets for a
Right.
couple games
Right for like
towards a
a
new weight
game.
room.
Uh,
It's like you get the top of the line weight room. It's not even, oh, it's not something that's difficult to get or whatever. If you just hire the right people. By the way, I think Mayo's brothers, is he still involved or no? Do
yeah,
we know about him?
he's still
The
strength and
strength
conditioning
coach,
coach. Yeah,
which
he
is
lasted, which is, I mean, he must be decent.
wild.
I don't think it's on him. I think it's the equipment. I think the equipment is outdated.
No, no, no. I don't think it has anything to do with him. I'm just saying it's surprising that he lasted the tenure
Yeah,
of his brother. But
and there's no bad blood there. Like,
no.
I mean, I'm sure it's a good job. They probably pay six figures, right?
Oh,
For
I would say at least 100 grand.
at least
I would think
to work for the Patriots, be ahead of 70
strength and
70
conditioning.
guys that are strength and
Yeah,
conditioning. So that that's an obvious, easy thing that you would think they would fix. So last year, this is a big one for me. Last year, I think they got an F on treatment of families,
right.
which has a lot to do with daycare.
It's daycare, having a room for the kids to go in and accommodations for the wives, stuff
Right.
like
So
that.
last year they got an F minus. F minus last year.
Out
So
of the
basically
minus,
non-existent. They didn't
yeah,
have shit. Like you're fucked. Pay for your
nothing.
own daycare, whatever. This year they have a C plus. So they've gotten a lot better there. Great. Great. We're still 31st in the league when you factor in all these grades. Food and dining area C. I mean, we have pretty good food in New England.
Yeah, you'd think they'd have better food.
You know,
And I, yeah, and what was it? Seating, food, and what?
um, food and dining area,
Yeah, okay. So I'm sorry, dining area.
dining
Like,
area.
why is the dining area not getting top marks?
No, everything across the board with the amount of money that we pay as
Should
fans
get top. Should get top marks.
should be
And
a
what was
B,
it?
B at least.
The plane? The plane?
The plane is the what? I don't see it here for some reason. Oh,
You
here
don't
we
remember
go.
the
Here we go.
travel
Here we go.
accommodations?
Team travel F. Here's what I think. I think there's no Wi-Fi on the fucking planes. I think
No,
it's
there
I,
aren't.
I think it's a Patriots private jet, but it's not a private jet. It's leased from someone else. They don't actually own it. Just says fucking Patriots across the board, right? And it's an old ass jet.
It's repurposed. It's an old commercial flight. They said there's still ashtrays on the plane, which I haven't seen in a
When did they buy the
decade.
jet that they would still have ashtrays? It's got to be from the 80s. When was the last time smoking was
90s.
legal on flights?
It's like the 90s.
So the plane's fucking 30 years old. Is
Yeah,
what that's what that means. The plane's 30
easily.
fucking years old.
Right.
So
And the funniest thing about that is I find so ironic is that when they got that, we were, like you said, they showed the painted planes and it looked, the outside of it looks
outside
brilliant.
of it looks fantastic, and
Looks awesome.
that's all they want you to see.
And that's what they showed everyone. They go, look at the Patriots planes. We're going to be flying in style, blah, blah. And then come to find out inside is like it's not even, they'd be, what did you say on the text the other day? They'd be better off flying commercial.
Yeah. Just have them fly first class.
It's, it's
I
like
mean, that would be better.
ridiculous.
You'd get a fucking at least a C, right?
So, yeah. And we don't have to go through every grade here, but I feel like we're following a trend.
Well, these are the
It's,
big ones, right?
yeah. What
Team
do you got?
travel, weight room.
Yeah.
This is the one that jumps out for me, dude. Ownership,
Yeah. What to get?
a D.
Really?
Yes,
Oh,
a
does it say
D.
anything about it? Does it say, is there any
So let's
write up?
separate. Let's separate just by ownership. All right. Only three teams got a worse grade.
Wow.
Only three teams got a worse grade.
Oh, that's
The Cardinals got a D minus. The Panthers got a D minus. The Panthers fucking owner, you know him,
yeah.
fucking
Who's
talking shit
everyone
to the fans.
hates that guy. Yeah,
Yeah, and the Jets,
Woody.
Woody.
So yeah, I mean, if that doesn't say anything to the crafts, and that's the problem with what we're seeing right now. It's like the whole operation is, the infrastructure of the operation has kind of just been let go. That happens with being successful. When you win for 20 years, everything's going great. Why do we have to improve everything? But when if it ain't broke, don't fix it type of a mentality.
Mm-hmm.
But now it is broke and it needs to be fixed. And they're not used to fixing these type of things, I guess, or something. Or they don't want to put the cash flow towards or whatever. But, we're seeing this trend the last couple of years that the Patriots are, it seems like we'd
They're
rather
cheap.
cheap.
They're a cheap fucking
We
organization, dude.
we'd
That's
rather cheap out than spend the money and fix things. Unlike I hate to say it, an organization like Philadelphia
so when I look at
who
a D for the
puts money
organization,
into stuff.
when I look at a D for the ownership, I'm thinking all these guys are unhappy with their deals. That's
Yeah,
the person that comes to mind, and then
I guess so.
they're
Right?
holding them
Yeah,
accountable for the weight room and the team travel and
being dicked
you
around
yeah. And you talk about
a
the
little bit.
strength coaches. Actually, you talked about Mayo's brother there. He got a B. Strength coaches B.
There you go. All right.
Head coach Gerard Mayo got a B plus.
Which is a tough one because you only won 4 games, so
It
it's like
speaks to a little bit of Christian Gonzalez saying that
right. They think he got a raw deal.
they think he got a raw deal, right?
Which I mean, that's fine to think. From the outside looking in, he had no business being there, which I think we're all fine thinking that. I haven't really changed my opinion on that. But when all these other greats are failing, and that's your one bright spot, it's like, what the fuck is going on over there? Are you guys, up
I
to
just
this
hope
still?
Vrabel steps in and says this is unacceptable.
Well, that's what
That's
we all
the only
expect.
thing that can really save it,
That's what we
other
all
than
expect.
season ticket holders saying, I'm good.
Which
Like
is probably going to start happening. Now that they got Drake May, people are going to want to go see it. But dude, we saw ticket. It was hard to get rid of tickets the second half of last year. I didn't even
Yeah,
I didn't have much interest in going. None of us really did.
I only went to one game last year.
And that's what's going to continue to happen. So,
It's
I
fucking,
mean,
and I'm on that waiting list, just like you know, waiting for
yeah,
shit to come available. You know, I'm a diehard. I'm gonna pay out my ass for it. I will because that's who I am. But you know, the guys that just want to go to the game or sell their tickets or occasionally go to the game
yeah,
and then sell their tickets, like it's not lucrative.
yeah. It's
You
not
know,
you well, and right. That's a good point because those guys used to think, oh well, if I want to sell 4 or 5 games a year, I'll make my money. I'll make good money. I'll make
yeah.
some money on top. And
Not if they
now
don't
it's
sell.
like
Not if they
now
don't
it's like
sell.
I can't even fucking give these things away. So yeah,
You ever just show up at a game and just wait online for the game to start,
and
and
the
then
tickets go down to
the
like five
tickets go
dollars.
down to like nothing, and then you
Yeah,
fucking just pay for the ticket. Like
I haven't done it,
that's
but
what
it's
it's gonna
it's
be with the
happening.
Patriots.
Yeah,
If
it's
they
gonna
don't fix this thing, that's what it's gonna be.
it's gonna start happening. So all in all, the Patriots, this front office, coaching staff, they have their work cut out for them like never before. But on the flip side, on the positive side, technically they have a lot of ammo, at their side. They have high picks. They've got a lot of picks this year. They've got a lot of money. They got the new young quarterback. They got the new head coach that a lot of people like
Yeah,
and want
I
to go
agree
play
with all
for.
that, but I
You know,
discount the money a little bit because here's the thing:
yeah,
you could waste all that money on free agents.
that don't. Yeah,
Free agents aren't what win you championships. They're not what help you compete. You know,
right.
to a large degree, you
No,
have to
not
hit
at
in the
all.
draft and then re-sign your players and use that money towards that
Right.
towards the cap via draft. You keep your players.
Which we don't have anyone really to spend money on.
No, but that's one thing I will give Elliot Wolf credit for is he retained like all their good players.
He did. I mean, it didn't really work out for him last year. We were happy about it at the signing, but yeah,
Like
we'll see
if
how
you
it
had
all
let
shakes out,
Barmore
man.
go, if you had let Barmore go, Duggar,
Speaking of Barmore, have you heard him? The update on him?
no, have you? What's going on?
They asked Vrabel about him. What do you expect from him? And Vrabel kind of waved it off like, I don't know when he's going to see the field again.
Yeah, that's a big problem. Like that's scary.
And then a report came out after that, basically saying he was rushed back last season and probably shouldn't have come back at all.
So he could have a pulmonary embolism, which is like
I
a blood clot in your system
Okay.
that could potentially go to your heart. And if it goes up the wrong tube, it gets stuck there. You basically die. I don't know, and that's one of the reasons I've been a little bit higher on Mason Graham at 4.
Because you don't know.
Not because Barmore's going to die, but he might not play football.
He might not play football. He might not be on the team. He might be out just next year. It's like
I don't even know if
they
he can get his heart rate up enough to
right.
just maintain his body. You know, like
Yeah, there's one thing where the Mayo organization, the Mayo camp kind of screwed up. And I don't know whose decision that was. It could not, maybe it wasn't Mayo's, but to rush that dude onto the field, we all questioned it at the
well, I
time.
think
I'm
he was
sure you
cleared. I think he was medically cleared, so it's not. I wouldn't put that on
kind
Mayo.
of. I mean, but we think remember, I mean, we all were surprised.
Well, he wanted to play. I mean, it's if he's medically cleared and he wants to play, if I'm the coach, I'm probably doing the same thing.
Yeah. But it's
You
like,
know,
why was he even medically cleared if what, a week or two
you
later he
just
had the
don't know.
same
You put him
problem?
on blood thinners and hope the clot goes away. You could possibly do surgery and like I'm
Yeah.
not a doctor, but that's what I
Right,
know
right.
about it. And like it's a scary situation where like
I still think they
it could
rushed.
go either way. They paid him a lot of money.
Right, that's
Um,
true. But I mean, it's like to rush a guy back like that. It's for that to happen. I feel like somebody wasn't doing their due diligence. Where who that was is, I guess, remains in question. But anyways, um, yeah, lot of stuff that they got to do
a lot
to
of
make
moving
this a
parts in the
competitive
NFL
team.
right now. It's a really fun time. I mean, the
Yeah,
Seahawks just released Tyler Lockett.
I know. There's another guy I wouldn't mind. I mean, I don't know what he's got left, but he's always been a savvy vet.
Yeah. Um, God, there's a lot of shit we could do in the next couple weeks, and it's fun. I for me this is a lot of fun. especially with the draft. I'm really like looking forward to digging deep with you guys and like just talking about prospects because
Mm-hmm.
with these high picks in each round, they have that extra third round pick. Maybe it could be packaged for someone. I mean, what's going on
Yeah,
with Garrett Wilson? Is Garrett Wilson?
I
I would
haven't
give
heard
up a
a
second. I
thing
would give
about
up that
him.
second for Garrett Wilson. No
I would.
fucking
I
questions asked.
I haven't heard anything about him, so I guess time will tell what's going on with his status. But he did want out at the end of the season. He wanted out of New York, but
That's
maybe that
insane.
was
I mean,
might have been because Aaron Rodgers was still there. I mean, it's tough to say what was going on, but
it's a mess over there.
yeah. Anything else we need to touch on? I
No,
can't think of any.
I'm just really champing at the bit here to get into more draft stuff. And
Yeah,
when Sean's back
absolutely.
next week, we could talk more free agency and
Mm-hmm.
we'll start putting out a little bit more regular stuff. Yeah, it's kind of where I'm at.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we want to announce that the Patriots podcast.com is live. It's already got a couple articles up there. Ryan's talking about doing a deep dive into the draft.
Yeah, I
All
have 150 players big board coming out
Yep.
soon, and I'll have a write up on the top 50 players. After that, it'll just be chalk. It'll just be the players and
Yep.
their measurements
He's
and
got positional rankings, all kinds of stuff.
yep.
Me and Sean have done a couple opinion pieces
The
on
Patriots
different
Podcast
things.
.com.
Yep, the Patriots podcast.com. So we're going to keep trying to add to that. So if you guys are avid listeners of the show or just want to check out some different NFL stuff from not the usual talking heads, go check it out. And you'll be able to see some of our links there, as well as if you want to comment on the show at all, we'll see that stuff now in an easier all in one place.
The other thing,
Um,
get in touch with us. Ask us some questions, and we'll answer them on the air here. And
absolutely, we'd love that.
we're happy for feedback and all that stuff.
Yeah, so we appreciate you guys for listening. I think that rounds this episode out. And subscribe, review the whole thing. Check us out on all of our social media pages if you're into that whole thing. And yeah, we'll see you next time.
All right, guys, we'll see you.
Adios.